The Ben Heck Show is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community and online store built for engineers and hobbyists alike. Join now and browse the store at element14.com.
What? Look at this, Allison. They're making another Steve Jobs biopic.
How many do we need?
Apparently at least 2. It's like a backup, like NASA. It's like you need 2 of something. Like if the first one doesn't work, you have a second one. But you know what? Instead of like filming Christian Bale with a computer and saying this will honor the memory of Steve Jobs, what if we looked at Steve Jobs' actual accomplishments? Like that old Mac Classic we have. What if we took it apart and saw what was inside of it?
That sounds like a good idea. The thing's been sitting around here somewhere for a while.
Yeah, we might as well crack her open and look at the guts. Let's get started.
Amazing builds, exclusive mods, cutting-edge ideas, electronics, engineering, and more. Every week on Element 14's The Ben Heck Show.
This is the 1984 model Mac Classic computer. This was the first Macintosh, an all-in-one box. It popularized the GUI, or graphical user interface, for a mass market. There were GUI computers before, but usually only seen in research labs. This is the first one consumers could get their hands on. So now we're gonna get our hands on it, take it apart, and see what's inside. So I'm trying to remember exactly where this computer came from. I think a friend of mine had it, and then he sold it to me for a great price. And I thought, oh, I should cover it with rock paint, like textured paint, just to make it look cool. But I don't think I've actually taken this one apart. I want to say it has a hard drive. Some of the earliest Mac Classics actually had the entire team's signatures engraved on the inside. They didn't engrave every one, but as part of the mold. So it's always a treat when you find Macs with that. All right, I've got to remove these really deep socketed screws. This is the only tool I have that will even remotely reach, so it's kind of slow going, but we'll get it. Let's see if the screws fall out. A couple of them. Mac's like, be nice to me, I'm old. I'm 30 years old, I'm 37. Old man, my name is Dennis. Oh, right. I don't vote for you. Taking this old thing apart is different than a new thing because it actually has screws in it. They actually wouldn't just snap everything together back in those days. And they don't glue things together or snap them together just to be cheap. A lot of the times they just want to have a sleek device with no screws. But then also, again, another big part of it is making things that aren't meant to be consumer serviceable. If you can update your device, they can't sell you a new one. Okay, this would come apart a lot easier if there wasn't paint sticking to it, but I think I can get it. So, just a disclaimer, you wouldn't normally have to pry this. It would just come apart. This could be like Fred Flintstone's Mac. I was modding computers before it was cool. All right, I think it's loose. Here we go. Oh, dirty. Oh, let's see if it is not a signature case. If this were a signature Mac case, there would be engraved signatures on the inside of it. So this isn't an early Mac Classic. So they actually built these things until the early 90s. What do we got here? Okay, this would be RAM expansion, although it's not populated. Oh, you can say if you've installed a SIM or if you haven't installed it. And clearly there are no SIM cards installed on this. That would go right here. If I had to guess, it looks like it probably has some RAM built in right here. I mean, there's 8 chips. So just adding this would probably give you some more RAM. I guess we can look up and see what it is. And then there'd be 2 more SIM slots to expand it even further, plus the RAM that's already on the motherboard. Oh, well, look, even back then they had the same plug on the hard drives, although this would be a SCSI hard drive, small computer serial interface, not an IDE. See how this ribbon cable? It's a lot wider than an IDE cable, so this is a SCSI cable. Macintosh actually used SCSI until, oh gosh, the 2000s, I believe. Because Macs used to be Motorola 68000 based, then they were PowerPC based. Then they went to IDE hard drives, and then they went to x86 architecture. So now they're basically PCs with a different operating system. And go ahead and leave bad comments below. It's completely true. And better case design. So let's see if we can get this hard drive out here. I'm not sure, how do I get at those screws? That's gonna be a little tricky. So Macs didn't actually originally come with the hard drives. The operating system would boot off the floppy disk. This one has a hard drive, although I don't believe it works anymore. Figure out the best way to get this guy. Oh, I see. This should release the hard drive. Ooh, warranty void if sticker removed. I'll have to watch out for that. Yeah, let's take a closer look at this hard disk. Actually, I'm gonna make sure I put these screws back where they belong, because I would like to get this guy running. Pretty sure the hard drive on this thing is shot. I'm not actually sure how I would go about reinstalling a hard drive in an operating system, but I guess I can look into it. Well, heck, you could probably create a flash drive for this thing, you know, modern SD card or compact flash in lieu of a hard drive. You can do it for every other computer. Apple branded hard disk, interesting. 40 SC, maybe 40 megabytes. Look at all the control circuitry they put in this, all Motorola too. How's an Adaptec, Cirrus Logic. That's got a sticker over it, so that's probably a program of some kind. Oh, look at that diode jumping from there to there. That's a rework. But other than that, not too bad. There's a lot of surface mount in this hard drive because this hard drive is probably a lot newer than the computer. This wouldn't be a 1984 hard drive. This is actually probably, I don't know, 89, 90. Back in the early days of computer, the disk drive or the hard drive was just as complicated and expensive, if not more so, than the computer itself. You know, you'd buy your $1,200 Apple and then you'd be spending $1,200 on a floppy drive. Even the Commodore 64, you know, a good portion of the cost was the disk drive. All right, so this thing hasn't been powered on in a while, so this should be completely discharged. So what I think I'll probably do next is remove the power supply, and then we'll try to get at the floppy disk and the motherboard. I'm going to put this aside because, as I mentioned, I actually want to try to fix this guy. I still remember the first time I saw a QuickTime movie, I was, oh God, I would have been like, what, 15? I know kids nowadays see a lot more than that when they're 15, but I still remember like a little postage stamp size thing on the Macintosh. It would have been a newer Macintosh than these, but yeah, that was pretty impressive back in the day. Now it's time for a tech timeout. Throughout the annals of computer history, there have been many interesting collaborations and synergistic opportunities. Rivals that you see nowadays might have been BFF back in the day, or vice versa. Whoever thought we'd see a Sonic game on a Nintendo console, for instance. There's an interesting thing here on this Apple IIgs motherboard. If you look at this ROM chip here, it says Apple and Microsoft on the same chip. Now I'm sure that is the ROM for BASIC. Most of the BASIC languages back in the day, the early computer days, microcomputer days, were mostly programmed by Microsoft. In fact, Microsoft's first product was BASIC for the Altair 8800 kit computer in the 1970s. It's just always interesting to see, you know, fun things like that on the computers, nice Easter eggs when you dive inside and see what's there.
Get dev kits fast. Element 14, your dev kit HQ.
Okay, I'm gonna remove the power supply next. Okay, it looks like that's hardwired to the CRT, so the amount I'm able to remove this could be limited. Okay, we can remove the fan though. All right. 2 screws and then it slots out. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure I don't wreck this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn this sideways. Turn this guy sideways. All right. Oh wait, that one's connected. Okay. Always be marking your polarity. I got it somewhat loose. I don't think this guy will come off. Yeah, it's better than it was. Don't want to bump the end of the tube. That's fragile. Okay. Also, if you're ever working with anything with a CRT, do not take it apart anytime after it's been on. Wait at least a day. Voltages can remain inside of it for several hours after it's turned on. And sure as heck, don't do it while it's running. These things are bad news. I mean, they're bending electron beams using electromagnets, so there's a lot of voltage in there. Motherboard's a lot smaller than I would have guessed. This probably isn't a very early Mac classic. Oh, and it just slides out. Okay. That battery is dead, so that's probably not helping things. Oh yeah, look at this, 1990, 1991. This is probably one of the last Mac classics that they built. All right, let's look at this thing here. So this is going to be your base RAM. Oh, it's even labeled. I'm not sure how much that is. If I had to guess, this is a later Mac, probably 512K, plus the expansion RAM. This VLSI is probably going to be your graphics, sound, your custom chip for doing that kind of stuff. This socketed guy here is almost definitely your ROM, basically the BIOS, what gets the machine running. There's a Z-Log chip here. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Z083. I don't think this thing had a Z80 coprocessor, but I'm not sure what that chip does. We can look it up later. We got some buffers here, here, and here. These are probably a SCSI controller. Oh, look, there's a AMD chip in there. Look at that. See a little logo? Yeah. Oh, and this is going to be your main crystal here. So 15.6627 megahertz. So yeah. This probably isn't the earliest Motorola 68K, which you usually, well, I guess that could be at 7 or 14. But, you know, it works. I think I'll clean this board up as part of my Mac restoration project because I want to get this thing working again. It's a classic computer. Oh, we still got to get to the floppy drive too. Yeah. See, they had surface mount back in the 90s. Actually, most of this is surface mount. I bet this dead battery wasn't helping our cause. I wonder where the heck we can get another one of these batteries. Probably eBay. I'm going to remove this aluminum frame from the plastic front, and that will let us get at the floppy disk drive. If the hard drive is the broken part, we could, in theory, oh, there goes a spider again, make a boot disk and boot the system just using the floppy, but I actually don't have a floppy disk drive on any of my computers anymore. So I guess we're out of luck. I could probably buy one off the internet or Craigslist for like a dime. Ugh, I must have missed a screw. Oh, I see. There's a hole in this plastic so I can get at this screw. Ah, it's all making sense now. Way to think different, Apple. I got it! Sony. Man, there's a lot more synergy between companies back then. Now everything's a big battle. This power supply combines the high voltage for the CRT along with the DC regulated voltage. This cord goes to the motherboard, and this one goes to the hard drive. Let's take apart this guy. Omron, there's a familiar name. All Sony as far as the eye can see. Now this thing could benefit from a good cleaning, but it probably still works. After examining the floppy disk drive, I decided to put the Macintosh back together so I could see if it still works. If it works, that'd be really cool. It might be kind of a neat conversation piece to have around the shop. Still makes a great decoration no matter what. So let's switch it on and see what happens. I heard a beep. That hard drive is very loud. Nope, spun down. It's definitely giving it the old college try. Well, I think this hard drive is kaput. We're gonna have to find a new one on eBay, completely give up on this project, or perhaps someone out there in the audience could send one in to us to use on this computer. I guess only time will tell if we, as a species, are gifted with a second Steve Jobs movie. Hopefully one that tells the untold story. In the meantime, you can keep watching The Ben Heck Show. Next week, we're gonna take a speak and say, and turn it into a Dave Jones of the EEV blog quote generator. We'll see you then. Beauty. And he wouldn't have wanted to be portrayed by Ashton Kutcher. Because if you look like a celebrity, you are the celebrity. Because Steve Jobs' soul is really in the computer.
That's moving.
What about The Martian?
I'm not gonna do The Martian.
But it's your favorite dance. In the meantime, you can stay tuned for our next episode, in which we're going to take a speak and say. That doesn't make noise. Don't forget, you can subscribe to this channel, join the Element 14 community, follow us on Twitter, and become our friend on Facebook.
The Ben Heck Show is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community and online store built for engineers and hobbyists alike. Join now and browse the store at element14.com.